Reading through the Bible in 1 year, June 10th, Deuteronomy 15, Psalm 102, Isaiah 42, and Revelation chapter 12. At the end of every 7 years, you must cancel debts. This is how to cancel debt. Every creditor is to cancel what he has lent his neighbor. He is not to collect anything from his neighbor or brother, because the Lord's release of debts has been proclaimed. You may collect something from a foreigner, but you must give whatever your brother owes you. There will be no poor among you. However, because the Lord is certain to bless you and the land of your and the land the Lord your God is giving you to possess as an inheritance, if only you obey the Lord your God and are careful to follow every one of these commands I am giving you today. When the Lord your God blesses you as he has promised you, you will lend to many nations, but not borrow. You will rule many nations, but they will not rule you. If there is a poor person among you, one of your brothers within any of your city gates in the land the Lord your God is giving you, do not be hard-hearted or tight-fisted toward your poor brother. Instead, you are to open your hand to him and freely loan him enough for whatever need he has. Be careful that there isn't this wicked thought in your heart. The 7th year, the year of canceling debts, is near, and you are stingy toward your poor brother and give him nothing. He will cry out to the Lord against you, and you will be guilty. So give to him, and don't have a stingy heart when you give. Because of this, the Lord your God will bless you in all your work and in everything you do. For there will never cease to be poor people in the land. That is why I am commanding you. Open your hand willingly to your poor and needy brother in your land. If your fellow Hebrew man or woman is sold to you and serves 6 years, you must set him free in the 7th year. When you set him free, do not send him away empty-handed, and give generously to him from your flock, your threshing floor, and your winepress. You are to give him whatever the Lord your God has blessed you with. Remember that you were a slave in the land of Egypt, and the Lord your God redeemed you. That is why I am giving you this command today. But if your slave says to you, I don't want to leave you, because he loves you and your family and is well off with you, well, then take an awl and pierce through his ear into the door, and he will become your slave for life. Also, treat female slaves the same way. Do not regard it as a hardship when you set him free, because he worked for you 6 years, worth twice the wages of a hired worker. Then the Lord your God will bless you in everything you do. Consecrate to the Lord your God every firstborn male produced by your herd and flock. You are not to put the firstborn of your oxen to work, or shear the firstborn of your flock. Each year, you and your family are to eat it before the Lord your God in the place that the Lord chooses. But if there is a defect in the animal, if it is lame or blind or has any serious defect, you may not sacrifice it to the Lord your God. Eat it within your city gates. Both the unclean person and the clean person may eat it, as though it were a gazelle or a deer. But you must not eat its blood. Pour it on the ground like water. Now Psalm 102. Lord, hear my prayer. Let my cry for help come before you. Do not hide your face from me in my day of trouble. Listen closely to me and answer me when I call, or answer me quickly when I call. For my days vanish like smoke, and my bones burn like a furnace. My heart is suffering, withered like grass. I even forget to eat my food. There you go, making sure I don't lose notes here. Because of the sound of my groaning, my flesh sticks to my bones. I am like an eagle owl, like a little owl among the ruins. I stay awake. I am like a solitary bird on a roof. My enemies taunt me all day long. They ridicule me and use my name as a curse. I eat ashes like bread and mingle my drinks with tears because of your indignation and wrath. For you have picked me up and thrown me aside. My days are like a lengthening shadow, and I wither away like grass. But you, Lord, are enthroned forever. Your fame endures to all generations. You will rise up and have compassion on Zion, for it is time to show favor to her. The appointed time has come, for your servants take delight in its stones and favor its dust. Then the nations will fear the name of the Lord, and all the kings of the earth your glory. For the Lord will rebuild Zion, and he will appear in his glory. He will pay attention to the prayer of the destitute, and will not despise their prayer. This will be written for a later generation, and a people who have not yet been created will praise the Lord. He looked down from his holy heights. The Lord gazed out from heaven to earth to hear a prisoner groaning, to set free those condemned to die, so that they may declare the name of the Lord in Zion and his praise in Jerusalem. When the peoples and kingdoms are assembled to serve the Lord, he has broken my strength in mid-course. He has shortened my days. Your years continue throughout all your generations. Long ago, you established the earth, and the heavens are the work of your hands. They will perish, but you will endure. All of them will wear out like clothing, and you will change them like a garment, and they will pass away. But you are the same, and your years will never end. Your servants' children will dwell securely, and their offspring will be established before you. Now Isaiah 42. This is my servant. I strengthen him. This is my chosen one. I delight in him. I have put my spirit on him. He will bring justice to the nations. He will not cry out or shout or make his voice heard in the streets. He will not break a bruised reed, and he will not put out a smoldering wick. He will faithfully bring justice. He will not grow weak or be discouraged until he has established justice on earth. The coasts and islands will wait for his instruction. This is what God, the Lord, Yahweh says, who created the heavens and stretched them out, who spread out the earth and what comes from it, who gives breath to the people on it, and spirit to those who walk on it. I am Yahweh. I have called you for a righteous purpose, and I will hold you by your hand. I will watch over you, and I will appoint you to be a covenant for the people, and a light to the nations, in order to open blind eyes, and to bring out prisoners from the dungeon, those sitting in darkness from the prison house. I am Yahweh, that is my name, and I will not give my glory to another, or my praise to idols. The past events have indeed happened. Now I declare new events. I announce them to you before they occur. Sing to the Lord a new song. Sing his praise from the ends of the earth. You who go down to the sea with all that fills it, you coasts and islands with your inhabitants. Let the desert and its cities shout. The settlements where Kedar dwells, cry aloud. Let the inhabitants of Selah sing for joy. Let them cry out from the mountaintops. Let them give glory to the Lord and declare his praise in the coasts and islands. The Lord advances like a warrior. He stirs up his zeal like a soldier. He shouts, he roars aloud, he prevails over his enemies. I have kept silent from ages past. I have been quiet and restrained myself. But now I will groan like a woman in labor, gasping breathlessly. I will lay waste mountains and hills. I will dry up all their vegetation. I will turn rivers into islands and dry up marshes. I will lead the blind by a way they did not know. I will guide them on paths that they have not known. I will turn darkness to light in front of them, and rough places into a level ground. This is what I will do for them, and I will not abandon them. They will be turned back and utterly ashamed, those who trust in an idol, who say to a cast image, "You are our gods." Listen, you deaf. Look, you blind, so that you may see. Who is blind but my servant, or deaf like my messenger I am sending? Who is blind like my dedicated one, or blind like the servant of the Lord? Though seeing many things, you pay no attention. Though his ears are open, he does not listen. Because of his righteousness, Yahweh was pleased to magnify his instruction and make it glorious. But this is a people plundered and looted, all of them trapped in holes or imprisoned in dungeons. They have become plunder, with no one to rescue them, with no one, or rather in loot, with no one saying, "Give it back." Who among you will hear this? Let him listen and obey in the future. Who gave Jacob to the robber and Israel to the plunderers? Was it not Yahweh? Have we not sinned against him? They were not willing to walk in his ways, so they would not listen to his instruction. So he poured out his furious anger and the power of war on Jacob. It surrounded him with fire, but he did not know it, and it burned him, but he did not take it to heart. And now Revelation chapter 12. A great sign appeared in heaven. A woman, clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head. Again, read the notes. That's the best way I can say for you to understand what this is about. She was pregnant and cried out in labor and agony as she was about to give birth. Then another sign appeared in heaven. And there was a great fiery red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And on its heads were 7 crowns. Its tail swept away a third of the stars in heaven and hurled them to the earth. And the dragon stood in front of the woman who was about to give birth, so that when she did give birth, it might devour her child. She gave birth to a son, a male who is going to rule all the nations with an iron rod. This is clearly about Jesus. Her child was caught up to God and to his throne, and the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had a place prepared by God to be nourished there for, again, 3.5 years, 1,260 days. Then war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels, the ones who swept down to the earth, also fought, but he could not prevail, and there was no place for them in heaven any longer. So the great dragon was thrown out, the ancient serpent, who is called the devil and Satan, the one who deceives the whole world. He was thrown to the earth, and his angels with him. Then I heard a loud voice in heaven say, "The salvation and the power and the kingdom of our God and the authority of his Christ," remember Christ as a title, "have now come. Because the accuser of our brothers and sisters, who accuses them before our God day and night, has been thrown down. They conquered him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. For they did not love their lives to the point of death. Therefore rejoice, you heavens, and you who dwell in them, and woe to the earth and the sea, because the devil has come down to you with great fury, because he knows his time is short." When the dragon saw that he had been thrown down to the earth, he persecuted the woman who had given birth to the male child. The woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle, so that she could fly from the serpent's presence to her place in the wilderness, where she was nourished for a time, times, and half a time. From this mouth, the serpent spewed water like a river flowing after the woman to sweep her away with the flood. But the earth helped the woman. The earth opened its mouth and swallowed up the river that the dragon had spewed from its mouth. So the dragon was furious with the woman and went off to wage war against the rest of her offspring, those who keep the commands of God and hold firmly to the testimony about Jesus. Now, this verse actually belongs to the next section, but I'm going to read it anyway. The dragon stood on the sand of the sea. All right, and all that said, that is the notes for today. So, sweet. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. Behold, the word of the Lord.